Good morning, teacher. I wanted to talk to you about something important.
Good morning, Michael. I'm here to help. What's on your mind?
Well, it's not about the final exam. I've prepared for that. My concern is different.
I see. What's bothering you then? Is it a grammar or vocabulary issue?
Yes, and no. I've been studying English, and I feel like I've learned a lot. But I'm worried about speaking with native English speakers next month when I apply for a scholarship. I can communicate in English, but it's mostly basic or intermediate. I use the same simple words and phrases. I know I've made progress, but speaking fluently at an advanced level feels like a big challenge. And you once mentioned that you'd help me with this.
I do remember that conversation, Michael. Don't worry, I'm here to assist you. Let's start by addressing your concerns. Speaking advanced English is a journey, and we'll take it one step at a time.
Thank you, teacher. I appreciate your help. So, where should I begin?
The first step toward speaking advanced English is expanding your vocabulary. Think about your recent English conversations. Were there moments when you wanted to express something but couldn't find the right words? It happens to everyone. The key is to work on your vocabulary continuously. Here's a method that worked for me when I was learning English.
What's the method?
Well, it involves recalling or creating English conversations. Start by writing down a conversation you've had in English. It can be any conversation, but it should be your own, not copied from the internet or a book. Once you have that conversation on paper, you'll likely notice that you've used basic words and phrases.
That sounds like a useful exercise. But what do I do next?
Great question, Michael. Next, you'll want to upgrade that conversation. Replace the basic words and phrases with more advanced ones. And don't worry if you're not sure which advanced words or phrases to use, I'll help you with that. For example, instead of saying, "I don't remember something," you could say, "It's on the tip of my tongue." This phrase is perfect when you know something but can't recall it immediately. If you'd like more examples of advanced phrases like this, just let me know.
That makes sense, teacher. I'll give it a try. What else can I do to improve my spoken English?
Well, apart from building your vocabulary, practicing speaking with native speakers is essential. It helps you get used to the flow and nuances of the language. Also, reading books, watching movies, and listening to podcasts in English can expose you to different styles and tones of conversation, which is valuable for speaking fluently.
Thank you for the guidance, teacher. I'll start working on my vocabulary and try to incorporate advanced phrases into my conversations. And I'll definitely seek your help when I need more examples.
You're welcome, Michael. I'm here to support your journey to advanced English proficiency. Remember, practice makes perfect, and with dedication, you'll achieve your goal. Hey there! I've got another cool way to help you with your English. You can choose topics to talk about in English, and it's super fun. Think about your life and what you like to do. Also, consider your goals and what you do every day. Let me break it down for you. For example, if you're into being an engineer, you can have a chat about that. You can use all those fancy technical words or talk about the cool stuff happening in the world of technology. It's like your secret code. Or, you can make a list of things you really enjoy talking about. It could be politics, medicine, or even what you like to do in your free time. Then, make a list of words and phrases you want to learn but haven't quite mastered yet. Now, here's the fun part: read stuff about these topics. It's like going on an adventure to find new words. Reading is super important because it helps you discover new words and phrases. And if you're not sure how to read English correctly, don't worry, we've got a video on our channel to help you out. Now, if all of this sounds a bit too much like school, no sweat. Here's a cool way to learn more words: listen to advanced English being spoken. It could be in movies, songs, videos, or even when you talk to real English speakers. Whenever you hear a word you don't know, write it down. Your mission is to find words you've never heard before, so don't worry if you don't understand everything.
Teacher, I really appreciate your advice on vocabulary expansion. It's been helpful. But I have a question about choosing topics.
Of course, Michael. Feel free to ask any questions you have. What's on your mind?
Well, you mentioned choosing topics related to our lives and interests. But I'm not an engineer, and some advanced topics are way beyond my current understanding. How can I pick suitable topics?
That's a great question, Michael. You don't have to choose topics that are too technical or unrelated to your interests. Think about the things you genuinely enjoy talking about. For example, you mentioned you like movies and music. Those are excellent starting points. You can select topics within these areas that you feel comfortable discussing.
That sounds more manageable. But how do I find words and phrases related to movies and music?
Another great question. You can start by making a list of words and phrases that you'd like to use when talking about movies and music. These could be words like cinematic or phrases like catchy tune. Once you have your list, engage with English content in those areas. Watch English movies with subtitles, listen to English songs, and read articles or reviews about them. Whenever you come across unfamiliar words or phrases, add them to your list.
That makes sense. It sounds like a practical approach. And what about listening to advanced English?
Listening to advanced English can be enjoyable and educational. You can begin by watching English language movies or TV shows with English subtitles. As you watch, pay attention to words or phrases you don't know, and jot them down. The goal is to discover new words, so it's perfectly fine if you don't understand everything at first. Over time, your comprehension will improve.
Thanks, teacher. I feel more confident now about working on my vocabulary and speaking skills. I'll give these methods a try and let you know how it goes.
You're welcome, Michael. I'm glad I could help. Remember, language learning is a journey, and it's perfectly normal to face challenges along the way. Don't hesitate to reach out if you need further guidance or have more questions in the future. Keep up the good work, and you'll see progress soon.
Hey, teacher. Can you recommend some useful resources for practicing English?
Absolutely, I've got some great suggestions to help you practice and improve your English skills. One fantastic way is to watch online lectures, take online courses, or explore subjects that interest you. Pay attention to documentary films too. The trick is to create a vocabulary list for each lecture, film, or tutorial you watch. Got it? Then, make studying that new vocabulary a daily habit. The more you study, the more advanced your lists will become over time. As you become more advanced, you might start skipping verbs and using fillers occasionally. It's okay to be casual in your conversations sometimes, but it's crucial to know the difference between formal and informal language. If you ever want to learn more about that, we've got a video on our channel. But here are some simple rules to keep in mind when you're talking. Try to pronounce everything as clearly as possible. Don't rush your speech, even if you're feeling nervous. And don't worry too much about having an accent, it's totally fine to have one. Always aim to use complete, grammatically correct sentences and questions. That's a great practice. Now, if you're unsure about the meaning of certain words, it's better not to use them. Play it safe and add those words to your vocabulary list for later study. Remember, speaking advanced English doesn't mean speaking English incorrectly. You still need to speak correctly, but it's equally important to understand what native English speakers are saying.
Thanks, teacher. You mentioned teaching me advanced words and phrases. When can we start that?
I'd love to teach you advanced words and phrases, but we'll do that in the next video. But here's the thing, we'll only make that video if our subscribers like the idea. So, if you're on board with it, go ahead and like the video. I hope this helps you, and if you have any more questions or need further guidance, feel free to ask. Happy learning!